All right. Why are you still getting injured? Let's talk about it today. It's definitely a topic that is very interesting, very curious, because it brings a lot of people to the practice of yoga. It prompts a lot of people to change their way of living and the way they treat their body. And today I want to share some of my thoughts on the topic why you are still getting injured. And with this, I'm not talking about injuries like accidents where something happens in a car accident, or someone, when you train martial arts, doesn't stop when you tap in an armbar and then you get injured. This is not what I'm talking about. It's where those things where you feel like everything's going great and then all of a sudden you have some pain here and there that's getting your attention and that's not really going away. And you're trying the best you can and you're still not really getting better. Those are the kind of things I want to talk about today. The things where we usually feel like we don't really know why it all of a sudden just happened. And the reality is that this is most likely because of how you have been treating your body. It's not that it's usually someone else's fault, and I know this is hard to hear, but you need to take ownership over your situation and reassess how you have been treating your body for the last months, years, and even decades. If you were training really hard in your 20s and you are now in your late or mid 30s and you think you can still do the same kind of training and approach to physical health as you did 10, 15 years ago, it usually doesn't work and will put you into a situation where you have problems with your body because you are not maturing and growing as you grow in age. You're getting older, but you can't continue your routines like as you were in your 20s. The body adapts to specific input. It adapts to the demand. And if the demand is too high, too low, or too specific, the body will compensate and still make what you're asking it to do work, but it might not be in the best way. And long term, this might cause injuries, problems, and pains. All these problems that we have nowadays are a big part, I think, because we're sitting too much and we're not moving enough. Even if you're sitting at your desk for 10 hours a day and then you go to the gym at night or go to the gym at morning for 1 hour, it's not enough. It's not enough for what the body needs. The body is meant to move. It's meant to move all day, but not like doing HIIT training and crazy weight training all day. This is not what I mean. It's just meant to move, to walk, to reach somewhere, to crawl somewhere, to climb over something. But of course, the environment we have created is all artificial, it's all flat, and we don't have those challenges anymore that give this natural input to the body. So we need to be disciplined and create training regimens and schedules and be disciplined with the training. But be smart about it. And beyond the formal training time that you put in the gym or on the yoga mat, just moving more naturally throughout the day, taking the longer route to the bathroom, parking further away so you can walk longer to the grocery store if you're driving a lot. All these little things are helpful. Quick stretches, quick movements throughout the day. Every 1-2 hours at least is something that's helpful. So on one end, we have the people that completely overtrain and get injured from that over a long time. And then we have the people that don't do nearly enough and don't move enough and get into a situation where they have pains and injuries. And I'm really not here to just preach you like this is how it is and this is what you should do. We all have our struggles. We all need to work with what we have. But what I'm seeing a lot and what is frustrating is that people just sit all day and don't move and then complain about back pain and knee pain. And yes, your body is adjusting to you sitting on the couch. It's doing the exact perfect thing it's meant to do. It's responding to the input and the demand you put on it. And if the input is sitting on the couch, it gets really good at sitting on the couch. If your input is sitting at the computer and like this all the time with head forward, it's getting really good at doing this task. If you are asking your body to move and stretch and reach and walk, it's getting really good at that. So it's not the body's fault that it's just adjusting to the demand. It's that your demand is not right for your body and for the needs of your body and for what you need. Having a daily practice, having a daily routine, a movement routine, and a meditation routine is a great start. But this is what I'm always saying, that yoga extends in all the areas of life, because eventually it's not just a formal practice anymore where you want to take good care of yourself and practice the compassion and kindness and strength and resilience, but it expands in all other areas of your life as well. So we need to start to think outside of that 1 hour on the yoga mat or 1 hour at the gym lifting weights or 1 hour on the mats training martial arts. There's still 23 more hours that you need to consciously, intentionally fill and do things that are beneficial to you holistically, full body, overall body, mind, spirit, which is one unit anyway, always moving, operating, existing as one. Another point that I would like to share and have you start thinking about is, are you even ready for the training that you're doing? For example, a lot of people want to learn pull-ups. It's usually something people say, I can't even do one pull-up. And then they go to the gym and start practicing pull-ups. So in a pull-up position, your shoulder is pretty much at full flexion. And then you're trying to hang there or pull up from there. Is your body even ready with shoulder range of motion to go into extension so that you can do dips? Because if you're not ready for it, there's the order of training is wrong. You need to focus first on your range of motion, passive range of motion, then active range of motion, and then you can go to all these other exercises and adding weights. Another very common one is, if you're not able to do a deep squat, there's no way, and it's just risky to put weight on your neck and then try to squat down. If you don't have a clean deep squat, don't even think about adding weight. This is first something you need to acquire, this movement skill of squatting all the way down, and then you can think of adding weights. A lot of people will not like this, but I hope you get the idea. If you're not ready to do something without weights, with just your body weight, adding weight to it is a recipe for injury. If you do this for a long time, for many months and years, you will maybe pay the price later. Hopefully not. Hopefully, I wish everyone stays pain-free, injury-free. It really sucks to be injured. I've been there too a few times, and it's really not a great place. But there's something that you have directly in control. This leads me to another point, which is specific and generic training. Most of the training we all do is very specific. We're always down here in this inverted pyramid. This is generic training where it's happening, where you cover a wide range of movements and skills and inputs for the body. And then we go down to specific training. Some examples are baseball, basketball, tennis, certain martial arts. They're all very specific down here, very specific training. You're always hitting the ball with the same arm, with the same side, over and over again. When you're training martial arts, you usually have a strong side. So maybe you kick with always the same leg. Maybe you do always the same kind of moves on the ground. So it's almost always in any kind of sport very specific. We have the tendency to be stronger on one side. And yes, the body is not symmetrical, but we're just feeding so much with all this training, with all these repetitions over months and years into our system that we create such big imbalances. And those structural imbalances, because it's all in relation to another, cause the body to compensate in other areas, and the whole body will actually be affected. There's an interesting question if there were already some structural imbalances first, and that's why you chose a specific side on a specific sport, or was the structure perfectly balanced and then the sport created these imbalances in your structure? That's a very interesting thought you can dive into and philosophize in your own time. But I urge you to add generic training, generic movement, full body, body weight practices that help you a little bit to level everything out, to balance out the body. Oftentimes one thing that's tricky and that throws people off is that where you feel pain is actually not the source, it's just the victim. The source of pain can be somewhere completely different, which is why we need to address the body when it comes to movement, especially with movement with the intention to get out of injury, to prevent injuries. It needs to be holistic and it needs to be focused on strength. So practices like yoga asana are great because the practice of yoga, the focus is on strength and awareness. You will build amazing full body holistic strength that's just giving a nice input to the body to come back to a place of harmony in the center, and then you will most likely be a lot better at your specific activities that you're doing. Always coming back to a general training, holistic training will also improve the specific training, but the specific training will not improve the entire body and in a generic and holistic way. The scheduling of how you go through your day might be something you want to look into and maybe change. Switching up the day, the structure of your day to not sit so much already helps, so that you don't go from 0 to 100, but you go from 0, from sitting, increase it a little bit, and then you show up for training ready to go. That's something I've learned over the years and what I see a lot with so many injuries in jiu-jitsu especially. And I love training and I will want to continue it for the rest of my life, but I learned that I need to make everything that I'm doing sustainable. The body is extremely resilient, but it's also actually quite sensitive. So adjusting those things, really looking into all these areas I've touched on so far, will hopefully make a really big difference in your life, that you are not getting into the situation to get injured. And if you are injured, I hope you get out of it. I know you will get out of it. The body is meant to heal. I wish you all the best. And now let me summarize a few key points that I want you to walk away with from this video. The first point I always recommend is walking more. I think walking is the number one, it's the best exercise. So adding more walking to your day, no matter how your training is on a daily or weekly basis, will improve your overall health. Start adding new inputs to your training. I recommend start doing bodyweight training, because with bodyweight training, especially practices like yoga that focus on full body strength, you target so many different angles of input. If you're going to the gym lifting weights, with machines especially, you're always moving in the same kind of angle and you get really good at this specific angle. But with bodyweight training and those forms that are very fluid, you are getting strong with your position here, 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 even back, down here, up here. You know what I mean? It's just always different. It's never always the same. And you get a bigger variety of angles to practice your strength, which will help you be able to control the full range of motion that you have in an active way, which is really the definition of mobility. Whenever you're moving, focus on slowing down. We can get fully sucked into the rush of working out and the training, and slowing down really not only increases your awareness, but also decreases your risk of injury and greatly benefits your overall strength gains and full body control. Slowing down pretty much with anything in life is what personally I recommend. Now, if you're injured, it's time to rest, and there's different approaches to recovery. There's RICE and there's MEAT, very funny abbreviations. But one is basically resting and elevating and icing, and the other one is introducing movement as consciously and carefully as you can, as early as you can. I think a combination of those things is helpful. If you're injured and if you have an acute injury, take the time to rest, ice it, take it easy. But then as soon as you can, start to introduce movements, and walking again is a great one to start with. No need to go back to BJJ mats or lifting weights, just some movement, full body movements, and walking is a great start. The problem I see is that a lot of people get injured, they take a few days off, and they go back to the exact training that they maybe got injured from. So then it's never really the time to fully heal the injury, and you definitely want to take that time. If there's any doubt or any individual questions you need for your body, of course, seek your medical professional or certified trainer or certified structural integrator near you. Having someone in person for individual advice is always what I recommend and always preferred over anything here online where people can have an opinion about really anything. And it's your health, it's your body, it's very important. So don't just trust anyone on the internet, not even me. Go do your research on your own and seek someone in person that's educated, because there's also many uneducated healthcare professionals out there. So it's a journey for sure to find someone and something that works for you well. But I think that's the biggest part of the healing process and journey, is actually trying, experimenting, researching. And then once you find the thing that works for your body and your body responds well to, stick to that and go more deeper into that. This is already a long enough video, already talked your ear off. Thank you for sticking around till the very end. Health, and holistic health especially, is more like a buffet. You sit down at the table and no one will come. They will not serve you any food because you have to get up and get it yourself. And it's kind of the same with health, and especially holistic health and well-being. You have to get up and get it yourself and put in the work, do the research and gather all the information and then take action. I hope you feel motivated and inspired and hopeful about your situation. Again, if you are currently injured, I trust that your body will heal. It's the natural tendency of our bodies to always move towards equilibrium, towards homeostasis, towards harmony, towards healing. And we just need to support it on the way with a little bit of a input here, a little bit focus here, and then it's all coming together perfectly towards harmony. That's what I wish for you. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of this video. I know this was a lot. Feel free to look at the chapter markers or look down in the description for some more information. I hope you found this helpful. All the best to you. Much love and gratitude. Peace.